Joanne Smith here. Beth Shimon here. Joe Sullivan, Max Yuso. Not here. Okay. All right. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move to approval of agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Rox and a second by Tina to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open forum, Elk Student of the Month.
So Miss Tate will be up here shortly. She just sent me a message. She was in another meeting. She'll be up in just a moment.
Okay. All right. We'll go to committee and administrative reports. Do we have a student representative report? No. Lisa West, do you want to?
All right. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Oh,
There's a microphone.
is there? Okay. All right. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I am excited to present some October highlights from Falls Elementary School. And also, I just want you to know tonight we have parent-teacher conferences, so I will be scooting out right after my report, if that's okay. Just want to be present to all the families. So I would just like to share that teachers are working on some important goals. They're focusing on explicit instruction with an emphasis on evidence-based vocabulary strategies and student engagement. And so that's going very well. And I am getting in and able to observe and to help support and model. And some of the teachers are also sharing and modeling. So we're really excited about that. Our character strong lessons are supporting some real life challenges, such as getting along with their peers and resolving conflicts. And so all teachers K through 6 are working on that every morning for a half an hour. Our PBIS Bronco Pride initiative, we are working to refocus our efforts to strengthen our Bronco Pride program. We're going to be having monthly boost celebrations. I call them a boost because, you know, it's just nice to have a little refresher. It's almost like a teachable moment where we take 20 minutes out at the end, we talk to all the kids and just refresh, what does Bronco Pride look like? What does it sound like? How are we showing it in action? And then we take time to celebrate those students who are modeling Bronco Pride, and also celebrating our Students of the Month. So we're looking forward to our first Bronco Boost at the end of the month. The cheerleaders are coming too, just to make it more festive. Some of the prizes that we will be giving away, and I say prizes, but really they're rewards. They're incentives to continue the positive behavior. Some of them are Bronco t-shirts, generously donated by Kyra Hasbargen of Hasbargen Customs. She's working on those right now. We also have some Bronco event sports passes from Mr. Ringhofer. And we're really hoping that over time we can expand our reward program from our local community partners that are really Bronco focused. We recently held our Falls Elementary annual picnic. It was a great community event. We invited this year the Falls High School Booster Clubs to join us, and our sports teams and our high school leadership teams, because again, we want to bring together all of our, our Bronco community. The Bronco football boosters had a burger booth, with proceeds benefiting the football program. Our girls hockey boosters introduced a new game called Beat the Bronco that will be replacing Chuck-a-Puck at the games this year, so students got to try it out. The volleyball team came and they engaged students in a game of volleyball on the back playground. We had the football team came out and played a game of impromptu football with all the kids on the playground. It was amazing to watch. The Bronco Brew came over and they sold specialty coffees and mini cakes. We had a lot of high school students, our student council, our MNHS students, They sat with a lot of children whose families couldn't attend. So we're taking notes and reflecting about what went really well and what we can do to improve for next year. And we are just really grateful to Jeremy Anderson, Manny and Carrie, our custodial staff, for all of their work in setting it up, and the City of International Falls. They brought over a lot of picnic tables for us. And it was chilly, but we had warm hearts. So we had an excellent turnout, and again, we'll be working on improving that. We'll look forward to a spring event as well. Our recess coaching program has been very successful. We have 58 students participating, ranging from grades 5 and 6. This is providing leadership opportunities for our 5th and 6th graders. They coach students on the playground, positive play, teamwork, inclusion. I talked to a little girl tonight, or this afternoon actually. She had her little vest on and she was going out. She said, I'm so nervous. It's my first day. Oh, do it. It'll be great. Like, remember, they look up to you. So it's just really been a great program. And Lexi Erickson, our new PE teacher, is leading the way. So she's doing a great job. Our band program is going well. We have 23 5th graders and 22 6th graders participating this year. And so I'm really thrilled about that, because I think that just is our feeder program for our Falls High School band program, and they are just loving it. Some upcoming events and activities, I'll close with that. We have parent-teacher conferences tonight and Wednesday. School pictures this week with Sejali's photography. Our annual pumpkin math is happening in 1st grade this Friday. That's a really big event. We have a book fair planned for November. I don't have the exact date on that, but it's the 1st week in November. It's a fundraiser for the 6th grade trip to the state capitol this spring. They're bringing back the 6th grade trip, so they're doing a lot of fundraising. Also, thanks to PCA for their generous support financially in supporting us getting the trip going again. And just to wrap it up, at Falls Elementary and West End Elementary with our preschool, we have a total of 505 students. We are at +3 students for October. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions?
Is there any thought of leaving a couple of those tables in the front of the school? It's so inviting when you drive by there in the morning.
I really love that. In fact, some of the kids asked about that. They said, could we have a picnic table to sit at? They really like that. So it's a great idea. I wonder if the city will let us have one,
Borrow a couple.
maybe, or borrow a couple. Yeah, great. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right. We'll skip back to Elk Student of the Month.
Okay, both of our September students are not here tonight. That's Chesney Scrine and Bree Egan, but we will do them. Oh, she's right there. Who's here? Oh, I'm sorry, Bree. I looked around. I didn't see you. So sorry. Okay, so we will start with Bree Egan, one of our Elk Students of the Month for September. Bree, if you want to come up. Okay. Bree, I apologize. I'm gonna grab your sheet over here. You just look like an adult sitting over there. So grown up. Okay. It is my pleasure to recognize Bree Egan as Elk Student of the Month for September. Bree is an exceptional student whose dedication to learning and compassion for others make her a true role model within our school community. She's currently enrolled in College in the Schools courses, including Introduction to American Politics and Introduction to Creative Writing. In her junior year, Bree successfully completed several other concurrent enrollment and honors courses, such as Composition 1, Understanding Literature, Mathematical Reasoning, World History since 1500, and Honors English 10. Bree plans to attend the University of Wisconsin River Falls, where she will study pediatric occupational therapy.
a field that perfectly aligns with her caring nature and desire to help others. Mrs. Manassa says about Bree, Bree Egan is a truly special student whose intelligence is matched by her kindness and empathy. She is mature and thoughtful, always taking the time to see the bigger picture before making decisions, and she treats others with genuine care and respect. Bree quietly leads by example through her service work, academics, and everyday interactions, and she has a way of making those around her feel valued. She is a joy to have as a student and in our school community. Her future is bright. Bree exemplifies what it means to be a dedicated, compassionate, and engaged learner. We are proud to celebrate her achievements and look forward to all she will accomplish in the future. Thank you. Okay, now we have an October Elk Student of the Month. And Carter Line, will you come up, please? Let's see, and Carter was nominated by Mrs. Hammers, and it is my honor to recognize Carter Line as the Elk Student of the Month for October. Carter is an exceptional student and leader whose integrity, work ethic, and genuine character make him a shining example within our school community. He is currently enrolled in several college in the school's courses, including BSU Math, Pre-Calculus, BSU Politics, Introduction to American Politics, and Introduction to Creative Writing. Throughout his academic career, Carter has consistently challenged himself with rigorous coursework. During his junior year, he completed advanced concurrent enrollment in honors classes such as Composition 1, Understanding Literature, Mathematical Reasoning, College Algebra, World History to 1500, World History since 1500, and Honors English 10, and Honors Algebra 2. His academic curiosity and commitment to excellence reflect his desire to grow and make the most of his learning opportunities. Looking forward to the future, Carter plans to attend Minnesota North College Hibbing campus, where he will pursue a career as an electrician. His choice reflects both his practicality and his interest in building a meaningful hands-on career that contributes to his community. Mrs. Hammer says, Carter's presence has truly enriched our school community the past few years. Through his integrity and intellect, he leads by example, both in and out of the classroom, earning the respect of teachers and peers alike. Carter treats everyone he encounters with respect and goes out of his way to make peers feel seen and that they belong in our school community. His quick wit and natural charisma make him a positive addition to every classroom, while his creativity and drive push those around him to strive to do better as well. As a leader amongst the student body, he inspires others not only through his words, but through his actions. Whether it's taking initiative in school activities, stepping up to volunteer, or offering encouragement to classmates, he brings positive energy to each situation. One of Carter's best traits, and what makes him especially remarkable, is the way he acknowledges everyone he encounters with sincerity, even taking the time to greet our youngest preschool students in the hallways or check in with our middle schoolers. His combination of character, leadership, and integrity makes him a truly deserving student for this honor. Carter's leadership, compassion, and dedication embody the values we strive to cultivate in all of our students. We are proud to honor him as October's Student of the Month and celebrate the many ways he contributes to our school each day. Thank you, Carter. And he has a pretty mean vertical, if any of you guys have ever seen him jump on the football field or on the basketball court, I will say. Emmett.
Okay.
Let's go hop along.
Do you want me to hold this for you? All right, Emmett Olson. It is my pleasure to recognize Emmett Olson as the Elk Student of the Month for October. Emmett is an exceptional student, athlete, and leader whose energy, determination, and kindness make him a cornerstone of our school community. He is currently enrolled in several college in the school's courses, including Politics 1200, Introduction to American Politics, and Introduction to Creative Writing. Throughout his academic career, Emmett has challenged himself with a rigorous course load, completing classes such as Comp 1, Understanding Literature, Math Reasoning, College Algebra, World History to 1500, World History since 1500, and Honors Algebra 2. His strong academic performance, combined with his leadership and extracurricular activities, reflects our well-rounded commitment to excellence both in and out of the classroom. Looking ahead, Emmett plans to play college baseball and is currently working with a coach to find the right school match. Once he does, he plans to complete his 4-year bachelor's degree, beginning with general education course while exploring interest in dermatology and other science-related fields. Emmett has expressed that he enjoys staying active and engaged. He thrives when he's busy and contributing rather than sitting behind a computer screen. His drive, focus, and ambition will undoubtedly serve him well in any path he chooses. Mrs. Hammer says about Emmett, when asked what it means to be a Bronco and part of FHS, Emmett's answer was everything. If you asked anyone at FHS what Emmett brings to our school community and what we'll miss most when he graduates, their answer would be the same, everything. He is truly a vital part of our school community, consistently serving as a positive and impactful presence among his peers. Emmett is a natural leader who leads by example, always the first to step up and lend a hand, often before even being asked. His personable and friendly nature makes him one of the most loved members of the student body, and he treats every individual he encounters with genuine respect and kindness. Whether supporting classmates, mentoring younger students, captaining the football team, or contributing in the classroom, he does it all with integrity. Emmett is not only hardworking and respectful, but also an outstanding student whose character and leadership make him truly deserving of this honor. Emmett embodies the spirit of our school, hardworking, kind, and community-minded. We are proud to recognize him as October's Student of the Month, and we celebrate his many contributions to our school and his peers. And this is a group of seniors, I will just say, that I'm going to be so sad to lose. This is really just a really big group of leaders, and I just love Emmett. He is truly a leader. He really helps these little kids, and he brought back the drum line for homecoming, and that was really awesome. So you are a mad drummer. Thank you. Do you want me to just go into my report? Or do we need to go downstairs and take pictures? If you guys want to step out, Mrs. Shimon will grab your pictures. There's so many things happening tonight. It's like
It's a busy night.
basketball sentence.
It's busy.
Board meeting,
Oh,
conferences.
it is.
Yes.
All the cars.
Yeah.
You're like, what's on the agenda?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I hope these people are all here.
Okay, so our numbers right now are at 430. We're down 5 from last month. And I think some of those are like status change to the ALC too, because we're up 6 at the ALC. So, because in September we were at 20 and now we're at 26 there. So we do have some kids that are doing partial enrollment at the ALC and in the building. So that is definitely a positive of having the ALC on campus, is that they are allowed to have easier access to some of the classes here on campus. Let's see, and I am still learning a lot. We have parent-teacher conferences clearly tonight and Wednesday. We have Stephanie, her last name starts with a W and she's coming from Lake Superior. Even if I remembered it, it's really hard to say. But she's coming from Lake Superior College on Wednesday and to talk to families. And then we'll probably be having her go into some classrooms of 10th and 11th graders. And she'll be talking about our partnership with LSC to offer an AA in-house. So we are still actively working on that. And then we're just actively right now, I've been having some meetings with a gentleman who really specializes in trimester schedules and really talks about when you're looking at your schedule, really looking at that more of just, not just a schedule, but it's like a vehicle for school improvement, right? So just like also while we're talking about schedules, we're talking about policies and why you offer certain classes the way you do and alternating years and just policies in general of how you offer things. So those have been some really engaging and good discussions that we've had that we hope can drive some good opportunities for our kids to offer more electives, both concurrent enrollment electives and just general electives. We also are still learning a lot about career pathways. It's a lot to wrap your head around, but we still are learning a lot and hoping to offer more of those. So really, that's what I feel like I've been doing is just really immersing myself in that, because before we know it, it will be scheduling time and we want to be ready to present a good schedule and be done. So, Roxanne.
Could you explain a little bit about trimester schedules?
Yeah, so trimesters is one option that we're currently looking at, and that is like, so it basically, we would offer like 3 sessions. And they're about 12 weeks long, each one. And so there's definitely some real positives. And then kids would actually only take 5 classes a day. Of course, if they had an open period, they might take 4 if they're a little bit older, but teachers would teach 4 out of 5. So we would definitely focus on less preps for the teacher. So that's a positive there. And then it's less classes for the students to take too and manage, right? Because if you think about it, like we've had a lot of discussions about, even when you go to college, a lot of times you're not taking 7 classes a semester, right? So then we're asking kids to manage 7 classes every day, and it's a lot. So basically our class periods would be a little bit longer. We're still looking at trying to get an advisory at the high school. A lot of staff have expressed a deep interest in having that here, and we do think that would be a driving force in some of our SEL, and even just like touching base with kids for announcements and things like that, because we really don't have a period where we get to do that. So that's still something that we're looking at. How can we eke that out in our amount of instructional minutes and still give kids the best bang for their buck? So there's some other positives too, like in a trimester, you can offer some classes, like you can offer some fall, winter. You can offer some where they start in the winter, spring, and you do that too because then you leave some, like, they call it casualty spaces for kids who maybe don't pass their fall class and then they need to hop into the winter class. And so it gives them just a little bit more opportunity to retake that class instead of waiting till it comes around again. We talked about, they call classes singletons when they're just offered once. So we talked about, that's a lot for teachers to prep. So just like really looking at that as we build our schedule and being conscious. There's just so many things that you don't think about in building a schedule. And I'm like a baby when it is talking about building high school schedule, right? I'm willing to learn. And he is super knowledgeable. And I've actually had Mr. Everson has sat in on some of these meetings too. So it's nice to have kind of the background of why some of these classes were offered. And then we can hear what they've done. And like, he was a superintendent in California, in Michigan, and a principal as well. So, and there are some schools that do trimesters. Moose Lake, for example, is a school similar to our size that runs a trimester schedule that has been pretty successful, but it also offers, it's a nice change too, like, because let's face it, not everybody always gets along. And sometimes you do have a class with somebody that you don't get along with, whether it's the teacher or the student. And, you know, right now we're saying, you got to stick it out until January 20th. It's a long time if you don't get along very well with somebody or you're like really struggling, right? And now we can say, okay, can you make it until Thanksgiving, or can you make it until right after deer season? And then you get a fresh start, a new class, you know what I mean? So it's looking at that. And then also some of the classes that were offered all year long are generally offered over 2 trimesters. So that opens up our ability to offer more electives without having to add staff. And that's huge because we want to offer more opportunities, because right now it's like when I learned to schedule and I was helping kids with schedules, it's really hard to tell a kid, well, you can take study hall or basket weaving. That's all we have this summer. I'm sorry. And so it's going to be really nice to be able to offer some more electives, but still maintaining our current staff.
And what's SDL?
SDL.
SEL.
Oh, social emotional learning. When I talked about that with
Oh, you said
advisor.
SEL.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I talk really fast. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Any other questions about trimesters? I mean, that's probably like just that in like a quick nitty gritty. There's so many other benefits and things to talk about, but I still am really in the infancy learning stages as well.
I have a question on it.
Yes.
So would everybody go to less classes in a day that you're saying?
Yes.
The same credits?
So no, we would have to evolve. Our credits would look different too. In fact, we actually today we just talked about a class that like we're like, oh, that makes sense that people should have that class, and that should be a half a credit. So we were talking about adding a half a credit. I think it was a math class. I've had so many. Today has been a busy day. It's like been a whirlwind. But no, credits would have to change, and he would help us through that process. Like he's right now, he's retired, so he's volunteering our time and like really digging into our schedule with us. And so it's been really nice, but it would be an evolving process. We would start with the juniors next year. They would meet so many credits to graduate, and then so on until you get to the required what you're gonna do.
Thank you. And there's a process. So this is just more of the research phase right now. And then Principal Tate would create some sort of presentation. There's an approval process, obviously, that we would go through. But really good information.
Yeah,
Right.
good.
Because it's of course the negotiation year, and I mean, of course, their contract is, you know, their schedule is really outlined in their contract, which makes it tricky, I think, to do different things. So that's something to think about. But I do think that the trimesters would be a lot of benefit for both students and teachers from what we're learning so far. And even like Mr. Everson is saying that, who is like, can't teach old dog new tricks, and he's a math teacher, so he's very black and white. So when I hear him saying like I'm seeing like a lot of light and sparks, and hearing him say like, oh wow, there's some good information I think being presented. Yes, it is great, isn't it? Any other questions? No, it's very exciting. I hope that we can bring our kids more opportunities, because we have a great staff. We just need to get some more opportunities in the door and more kids in the door.
I love your enthusiasm about
Oh,
it. I
thank
really
you.
do.
It is really exciting. I mean, it is like I talked about before, it's scary to come over, like a new change is hard, but it's been really like, I don't know if I've said this, but the senior class that I really love, they were my first preschool class. So it's like kind of seeing them go full circle, but it's also, I mean, you love each building for different things, and being able to help these kids now make decisions or find passions that they are interested in that will help them, you know,
Yeah.
years beyond is really exciting too. So each level has a different excitement, you know, just like having kids, each level
Yeah.
brings a new scare or
Right.
exciting.
But I mean, I can tell that you're very excited about
It's
it, and that you're
very
very into it, which I think is exciting for us to see too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, anytime I think we can bring new opportunities, and especially at the same cost.
Yes, perfect. You're thinking right, Missy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Molly?
Oh, my turn. Thank you. I was afraid because I was like, I saw so many people. And I was like, Mom, you have to like up your game. And I was like, I can't. Okay. So I have my community ed report. Just a quick kind of overview of what early education is doing. Last week we had a really successful early childhood screening date on Wednesday. We partnered with Futasca Head Start, and we screened like 40 preschoolers, so they're ready for kindergarten next year. So I was like, oh, a calm that I faced. And then we were also able to partner with Cooch County Public Health, the hospital, Minnesota North College, and our school nurses, and they were able to provide nursing staff while we're kind of short-staffed. So I was like incredibly grateful for all of those people coming over and helping us that day. And then last week we awarded $37,500 in early learning scholarships for our preschool families.
Wow.
So we were able to award, it's called the Pathway 2 Scholarship, and it's to pay for their tuition and our program and such. And so we were able to award 7 families. So that felt good. Yeah, it's part of the job that you kind of like doing, because you're like, oh, I can help you out, and we can like kind of win together. So that was really exciting. And then community education report. We wrapped up ATV training last week, so we had 25 participants, so that went really well. We had crafting night with Angela Scholler. If you don't know Angela, she's like the best. She's our PALS coordinator too, so she works in my community ed office with me, and she's like the most crafty human being on earth. So she was able to run a crafting class, and yeah, and we're looking forward to our next one. She's kind of like in the planning stages of a winter one, so that'll be exciting. And then we also offered a cross country camp, which Cheryl Hendrickson came up to me in my office, and she was like, Molly, I think we should have a camp for elementary students to have cross country. So we were like, let's run it. We had 12 elementary students sign up, and they were just like coached and learned more about cross country, and they ran at the home meet last week. So really exciting times for them. Let's see. We have upcoming driver's training next week with Jeremy Anderson. Jeremy does it all. He's doing driver's training, doing facilities, all the work. And then we have lifeguard certification coming up in the next month. We are still looking for a couple people to take it, just so our person from the Iron Range can come up. And then we are currently working on like a community feedback survey for community ed. I would like to like kind of like dive into what the community wants in terms of like ideas and developing kind of a strategy moving forward. So it's representative of our community and what they want. And then ECFE, we have our upcoming Haunted Hallways event on Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30. So that's ages are birth to 5, and then older siblings are welcome. And we have a whole bunch of community partners coming in to hand out some treats for little kiddos, so that'll be exciting. Janessa Blasky, who's running ECFB, is doing an excellent job. She took the kids to the fire hall and their families, and that was really exciting. I saw on Facebook, and I was like, oh, it was so cute. So no, she's doing a really, really great job kind of working on making it her own too, which I'm really proud of. So yeah, good programming down at West End. Yeah, question.
What tool are you using for preschool screening?
We were using the Dial 4 for
Okay.
preschool screening. Yep. So our team down there ran it last week through West End, and it went really, really smoothly. And I heard positive feedback from all the teachers down there that like
Good.
they like the layout too. It was like nice because I think in the past they've had it in like different wings of, I don't know, one of the hallways in the elementary school, and they're like, yeah, this works well because it's like so conducive to the flow. So
Do you find that it's helpful in helping identify young ones who should be referred to special ed?
Yep. So we had quite a few referrals actually, and then Ginger Christensen will handle those and pass them off to either, I'm trying to think, Help Me Grow. So those will be handled, I think, in the next couple weeks and such. So yeah, successful though.
Good.
Woohoo. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Beth, do you want-
Tim is doing basketball signups tonight, so I don't know if he'll be stepping in. Before I start, Linnea, come on up. I would like to introduce and let Linnea speak. As you know, there's been 3 key positions that have had turnover since my arrival, and one of them is my assistant and our new position to the district as a grant writer position, which has been very successful for our first year. And when Miss Hall left, I was concerned about who would fill the position because it really is an independent position where it comes with somebody who's self-starting, but I also, to me, energy and personality is really important when you're representing our school district. So I would like to introduce to you Linnea Imhoff. She is a ray of sunshine and a ball of energy, and she's been here for a week, and I just can't speak highly enough about what I've seen from her in this short amount of time together. So I'd like to introduce you to Linnea and let her tell you about herself.
Well, good evening, everyone. So Linnea Imhoff. I am so thankful to be here. I did not present a speech, but I do want to express my gratitude in this opportunity to be part of this wonderful school district. It is an honor to me. And as I strive forward in each and every day, I just want you to know that I am here to work for you guys and the students, number one, the community. It's whole community, whole child, whole school. That is part of who I am. And every ounce of work that I will do for the school district and the students, really it comes from the heart. It is a will to want to help, and I will do my best to do that every day that I come into work. A little bit about me. I am from Bemidji originally. I married an Imhoff. The name seems to be very familiar in this neck of the woods. So we moved to Little Fork. So I do live in Little Fork. I might cut that part. But we live in Little Fork. We have 2 young boys. We have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, Lynn and Johnny. And so the importance of education, the importance of families and whole families, it's really important. It's important to me. So with that, it is a true pleasure to be on the team and with you all. Please feel comfortable to come to my office, reach out via a call or an email. If there's ever any concerns, this is my first board agenda that Kendra helped me with. But please reach out to me if you see any concerns or if you hear of anything. I'm here, I'm available, and I want you to know that, and I want the community to know that as well. So thank you.
Linnea, do you have your name on the phone extension list? Sometimes I find it hard to get. Is your name on there?
It'll be updated by Christina.
Yep. Okay, good. Great.
So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes,
Welcome to your family.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yes.
There's never enough hours in the day, as you know. I'm going to give you a brief outline. Our November and December board meetings are going to be busy. We'll have CISO here. We'll have Ziegler here. There'll be presenting on the solar arrays, so we can get an update on that. They'll all be joining us virtually, but I think there's really some significant information that will be happening at our November and December meetings. So if there's any information that you would like presented from CISO or on our solar work that's being done, let me know and I'll make sure that's part of the presentation. Before we get started, I just, the school year is off and running. We're into week 7 already. And it's hard to believe that we're going to go into November very, very soon. And, I know sometimes people think, gratitude is thrown around freely, but I really cannot say enough in what I have seen from Principal Tate and Principal West since we started the new school year. And their work in researching the direction and the vision for the future of 361. People don't always get to see what administrators do behind the scenes or the hours that they work. And though everybody in education works really hard, sometimes we forget the leaders. And I just want to say, not only have they dove in and really started researching based on some really good data that we're receiving from the state and from our community stakeholders, I just want you to know that as a newer superintendent, I'm in year 2 now, so I can't say I go to baby superintendent school anymore. But what I can say is I feel a great partnership with them in the vision and the direction that we're moving together. In addition to, when we talk about another layer, our directors, from our coordinators, our Indian education coordinator to our technology director, community education, I just want you to know that even though I know change is hard, these people are rising to the occasion and they are leading their groups very well. And there's bumps and there's challenges that come our way. But as a school district leader, I could not do my job without them or without the school board. And I don't ever want to think that they're not being recognized for their work, because what's happening behind the scenes is truly something wonderful to be seen. So I just want to extend my gratitude. In addition, the school community partnerships that are starting to happen, I think they've always existed in this community. Mrs. Rasmussen once told me that if there's ever something hard that happens in our world or our community, it's this community that you want to be a part of. And I continue to see our community partners show up every day for kids, from donating money to coming into our schools and working with our teachers and our students to just asking, what can I do to help? We are seeing some significant donations coming in for athletics, to activities, to classroom supplies, and that partnership, we wouldn't have many of the things that we have that are extras that public school funds can't fund. So I also want to recognize and thank our community partners. As we get ready to move forward, I want to do a brief recap. So we also have this on the record of our board work session that we had last week. And I appreciate the notes that we have from our Chairmember Smith. So I just want to recap some of the things that we talked about. We addressed our strategic plan update with Teamworks. Last spring, we had a group of board members, teachers, paraprofessionals. We had a large group to come together to look at the work ISD 361 had previously done. And some of that work began during COVID, which was a really hard time in education. But what we looked at was, where have we been and where do we want to go? And we started pulling out key areas that have been, that really rose to the top through surveys, through state data, and some of those key areas that really had to be revisited, and what we recognize as being priorities from the already in place strategic plan were culture and climate. We know that that was the #1 priority when I came in as the superintendent by all stakeholders, from staff to community members to our families. And by recent data results, we are moving in the right direction. We still have a ways to go, but we are positively moving in the right direction. The second area that really had to be revisited and prioritized was our infrastructure and our facilities. From everything from breakage to non-compliance to making sure our processes and procedures for efficiency, we felt that that was a priority, because we all like to work in a space that's clean, safe, welcoming, and kept current. So that was a priority that is going to be reignited and brought to as a priority in our strategic plan. And then, as we know, school attendance and enrollment. So I would say when we're talking about our top 3 priorities for the district, and these were areas that were listed in there, although attendance really wasn't a priority. I would say now, moving forward, when Teamworks comes back to work with our school district and our staff and our board and our community, those are going to be the 3 continued areas that we have to focus on. In addition to our 4th layer, which is going to be led by our principals and myself and our district committee teams, is the expanded learning opportunities. So when we talk about, expanding early childhood education, childcare, online learning, and our principals and our district committee members will be leading that work. So those are the 4 pillars that we are going to reprioritize for our strategic plan. We also had a brief conversation about the budget and our work with CISO, and I would say to date, the work with CISO has been positive. We don't have the opportunity to have a lot of people who are well versed in school finance, and as you know, school finance is a really difficult beast. But then you layer that with grants, and you layer that with a school referendum. So I think having a new superintendent, principal shifts, and having CISO be able to come in and continue that work with us, that doesn't mean down the pipeline we're not going to look at a school finance person. But I think that consistency really matters as we're working at a really significant level of public dollars, and just making sure we're managing that. As we talked, I also shared that one of my visions for our school district is to ensure that our leaders of different departments and areas have a budget to work with. So what that means is Principal West, Principal Tate will have an actual budget that they will get, that they have to live within their means, right? So when we talk about supplies, when we talk about staffing, the goal is to create a technology budget for our technology directors. So our director knows what their dollars that will be available for the year, and then they will prioritize with their team based on the needs of our school district. So right now, CISO is implementing that for all key leaders. And then myself and CISO are meeting with those directors or administrators and going through the process, and they're able to ask questions, they're able to get feedback based on the coding, and that will help alleviate some of that extra that is placed on our business office.
Good.
So we'll talk more about that at our November board meeting. As we talk about facilities and committees, one of the things that I just want to update you on, and that really the referendum falls under there, we are ahead of the game when it comes to the asbestos removal and some of the wiring and things that need to happen in order for us to start that big construction. So one of the things that is going to happen is the bids for Bronco Arena close. The bid opening is on the 23rd here. But the other piece is that we have the opportunity to start construction earlier at Falls Elementary. So the teams, Principal West and I and our board member committee members have to get together, and we're going to talk about what that timeline could look like. And they have committed to start the process early with getting up in the fixtures and the wiring. They have committed to working when school's out and through the night, so it doesn't disrupt the school day. So I think we're in a very fortunate position for how behind we were in getting accurate bids, that they're going to be able to come in and do this work. So that information will be more updated after we get to bid opening. I have asked them to revamp the schedule, the construction schedule for the board. And so they're updating that following the bid openings on the 23rd. The one thing I did talk about with the board during our work session was my continued concern about the infrastructure and some of the outdated areas or areas that possibly weren't kept up to date that needed to be, in addition to some of our historical non-compliance areas. I'm putting together a list for you Jeremy and I are working on that, so you know what's been done, what's yet to come, but the state has been really fantastic in working with us as new leaders within the district. The other areas that I'm finding we need to continue to seek revenue on our grant applications are really important. We are seeing a lot of grant funding come out for CTE, innovation grants, childcare grants, and right now we are in the process. Linnea is currently working on a grant that is due on Friday through MDE, and it's a community schools model grant. This grant is an opportunity to really change the way we look at education and the vision of the future for ISD 361. And our team has been working behind the scenes on what the narrative and the data needs to be presented in that to make our story really compelling. So we just found out about this grant last week. So we have pulled together people. We spent a half day working on this. We're going to be asking people for, letters. We're going to be submitting photographs, budget plans. But I have been part of a school district who has a community school model for an area of the community that really struggles socioeconomic. And I can tell you what a community school model does for a school district is game changing. It's really about a whole school, a whole community, a whole child partnership, and your school really becomes a place for all. And it's really based on data. They come in, they would hire someone, they would fund the person, and they do a comprehensive needs assessment, and they start acquiring all the data. So the opportunity is great. Obviously, I am the glass is half full kind of leadership. We're going to give it our all, but we will be submitting that on Friday, and cross your fingers.
That's amazing.
If not, we'll continue to seek the grants that we have. I did present to the county last week on vape detectors. They are giving their opioid dollars. They have the opioid money to be given away. I did present to them regarding Principal West, when she left, one of her goals was to get vape detectors in all of our spaces, because research shows that, and we just had Tall Cop here for the opening of the school year, is those exposure to drugs or tobacco use can be an indicator of what's next. It's not always the track that people go, but we are finding that even in some of our attendance and truancy, that's sometimes where kids go and they go into the bathroom. So we want to work with students. It's not about catching kids and that, we want to give you an hour of detention. It's like, what do you need? How can we help so you don't make this choice? So we'll hear more on that soon, but that took place also last week. When we talk about the policy and committees segment of the retreat, we did talk about some of the handbooks that have still not been finalized with the board, and the goal will be to have all of those ready for the November meeting. One of the things that have transpired this year is with the changing of staff and the staff shortages that we ran into. We haven't been able to beat like we should have. And though I'm not making excuses, I do want you to know that that is a priority for us, and we will have 2 handbooks be presented to you at the November meeting. Policies will, now that we have my assistant back, Ms. Hall and Ms. Imhoff met. They went back through all the policies where Ms. Hall left off, and so you will now see the policies start coming back through and get those finalized. The policies I also will be embedding into my communication with staff and asking them to go through some of our policies. I'll just be releasing a little bit at a time, but I think it's really important that people take a moment and know our policies, whatever role that they play within our district. And last but not least, we have been working with, I have been working with a team from the district on our district attendance policy and working to align it with the state. I've been working with the juvenile task force, and then we've also created an attendance team within the district. So we are creating a new district attendance and truancy policy, and that letter is slated to go out this week to our families so they know what to expect. And then if you have any questions on that, you can certainly let me know. It's very similar to what we have, but they need to know the chain of communication that's going to happen when they've missed 3 days, when they've missed 5 days, when they've missed 7 days, and then what happens when they've missed 10 to 12. Because once you get to 10 absences, you are what the state would recognize as chronically absent from school, which starts setting you behind for meeting grade level standards. So families are going to be getting a letter from me to let them know what that process will look like. Good. Fundraising and community partnerships. We had some great conversation. I cannot overstate this enough. We would not have the fundraising opportunities we have if it was not for the people and our businesses in this community. Whether it's a garbage service, a storefront, a service provider, And I know as a child who was raised in a business, the opportunities to donate are daily. And, so we had greater conversation about really taking a deeper look when it comes to our asks as a school district, from the fundraising we do to what our booster clubs are doing, to what Falls Education Foundation is doing, and how do we streamline some of that work? And are we following our district policy on fundraising? Are we making sure that the fundraisers are going through the school board to be approved? And is there merit behind the fundraiser in what we're asking for, in addition to what we're asking our families to do? So that is a conversation that the athletic committee is going to be having at one of their future meetings, but that was something that we talked about at the retreat also. As you know, it's a negotiations year. We are in the heart. I can't thank Member Crosby, Member Skupsa, Deach, and Johnson enough. They have been at every session with me, and I have really appreciated their insight and their ability to partner with me through the negotiations process. I feel like it has gone very well so far, and I would say that we're at a standstill right now because we're waiting on insurance. We just went out for insurance bids. We just had the presentation on it. There were a lot of questions around it. So Board Member Crosby made the suggestion to offer 2 sessions, information sessions to all of our school district members to come and listen to the presentation so they could hear it. And then what we will do is we will put it out to vote to our members, and then I will start back up with the teacher bargaining unit. But I think that transparency is really important. And as we know, insurance rates continue to go up for all of us. But I feel that so far the conversations have gone really well in our time together. Last but not least, you're going to see a survey going out on our childcare. We have been working with the state. We've been attending seminars. Our Molly Larson has been interviewing childcare centers. She's also in the process of considering going down to see our former community ed director, Rachel Amdahl, and spend some time down there and look at her site. And we are going to be putting out a survey on who is interested in after school and or before school childcare. So you're going to see that survey come out. It just was submitted to me last week. I'm going to go through it. That will go out to our families, and then we'll present that data and take a look at that data in a future board meeting. But we are hoping to have that open in January and or February at the latest. Regional superintendent groups, they are working hard. We're following legislation closely, and I know Member Skupsa Deach will give a presentation on that. But one of the things that I do want to recognize is International Falls is not the only school district that has great concerns with school attendance and enrollment. Some of the biggest barriers are other modes of education, platforms that people can access. So we are not alone, but as a rural school district, we are really in an unfortunate situation because we don't have, competing districts. So really we are losing that opportunity to other school districts that are very close by, 1 or 2, but also the component of PSEO and the component of homeschooling. And so, we have to make sure that our mission is committed to offering the best educational experience and also the best experience when it comes to growing up as a young adult and making sure that people feel prideful in the school that they attend and they represent. So this is another area that is on the docket for discussion with superintendents, and that is mandated, unfunded mandates. We're seeing that grow. We're seeing insurance increase, and we're just there. The funding isn't there in an area that is really being talked about as special education services right now. It is a big one. The due process time, the paperwork time is almost exceeding the time that our educators can spend with kids. And the funding behind that just is not there. So there's creative solutions being presented. There's legislation brought forth on what could be done differently, but that seems to be a really hot topic right now in education. That is really all that I have. I could probably talk to you for an hour. I get very excited about the work that we're doing, and my door and my phone are open. I can't promise I'm going to get back to you within 24 hours, but I will get back to you. Do you have any questions?
I do have one question because I didn't see it talked about, and maybe it wasn't at the meeting, but with Bruce's position, how's that?
Oh, great question.
So in what I read, we have to put it on a ballot. But when I've spoken to MSBA, because it was in a threshold of a window, we don't. So the attorney at MSBA is checking into this for us, and he's going to get back to me. So I'll put out a report to you as board members this week. But we will be filling the position, how that looks. If anybody's interested in that, they can certainly reach out to me, and I can guide you in the right direction, but we will be looking to fill Mr. Ravoyan's position on the board. The remainder of his term is just over a year,
When would that start?
January 1st.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. First of all, since we're on this topic, with the Bruce's position, anyone can come into the office and ask to put their name on the ballot for November. They pay for, what did we pay, $2 or something?
Yes, the fee is very small. They can come in and put their name on the ballot, or they could do a write-in campaign. There's a number of different things, and once I get the final word, I'll put out a statement on social media, and I will let the board members know, and we will get that information out, and it will probably end up going to the newspaper also.
Okay.
But anybody can apply.
There
That
is
was
a
in our,
deadline, so,
yep.
yeah. The other thing I wanted to know about was, have you heard anything from Northland Co-op regarding, there's going to be huge cuts to special ed? Is there going to be anything affecting the co-op services for special ed to International Falls because of the statewide cuts?
That's a really fantastic question. I can't say today yes. What I can say is Principal West and Principal Tate and I are watching our numbers very closely when it comes to the numbers that we serve, students who receive special education services. We're looking at caseloads, but I always want to remind people there's a vast difference between caseload and service minutes. Those are two very different things. Obviously, our numbers are not going down, they're going up. And that is a national trend. So I don't foresee anything glaring right now, although one of the things that I would say Superintendent Grover, Principal Tate, and Principal Everson did is they applied for additional funding. So when you're talking about the ADSES grant and you're talking about some of the other funding streams, we have those for a short amount of time. So as we continue to have the opportunity to look at additional avenues for funding, one of the things that I will always be making decisions on is data, and the data will be our financial decision making will be driven on data, and that's what we have to do. But right now there's not been any hard lines that have been delivered by the state. Now we'll start getting into our advocacy briefings, and we'll start learning more as we get ready to go into the new year.
Okay, the other thing that I hope does not occur, and I can tell you that it has occurred in the past, is that people that are doing the evaluating of kids that are possibly in need of special ed, that they are not pressured in how they interpret the scores and the evaluation data that they collect, because I know it can happen. There's a fine line in how you interpret it, and I hope that because of the cuts that are bound to come at this point, that we don't end up putting them on the backs of kids in need.
I appreciate that statement, and I would echo your statement. I want you to know that I have, prior to coming as a superintendent, I also had the honor of working with the Northland Center in, I can't even think of the name right now, the service co-op in Virginia. And I can tell you, I was on the administrative side of that, and the integrity of their evaluation process and the data that they use, our school psychologists, in addition to our directors that come up and spend time with us, that has been a deep-rooted investment the last, and I can't speak before my arrival, but I can tell you that that's been a deep-rooted investment by the administrative team and myself about ensuring that they're coming up and educating our staff, talking about the data points. And that's the one thing I did not address in my my presentation is I am working with an individual right now to put all of our data together. So when you start looking at MCA scores and you start looking at students who receive special education services, data of integrity, I mean, that has to be a priority for any school district, but I think the evaluation process, we have to do right by kids. That is our number one priority. And that's why it's our job to hire good people. And I feel like we have really good people working for us, and we have to make sure that we're getting kids and families the services that they need based on data of integrity and testing results and outcomes. The one thing I do want to tell you, the reason I am moving forward to looking at a comprehensive data plan for the district, I want to put together a historical data hub, is that the new MCA results are out. I will be talking about those in November or December, and my prediction was that we'll continue to see the school attendance mimic the outcomes of our MCAs, and I can tell you our attendance and truancy issues of our students is contributing deeply to the lack of proficiency within our school district. And that you will see that that is why this presentation is so very important. It needs to be presented to the board. It needs to be presented to the community. You know, I was a parent, you know, you want to go on those trips. You want to maybe take a day off and drive down to Duluth. But when you start getting to 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 days of school, your child most likely will not be proficient at their grade level standards unless there is a severe learning disability of some capacity. So I think it's important data, and I think it's something that we are going to continue to address and educate our staff and our community on, and I think we will see the paradigm shift as we continue to collaborate and work together.
Is there a process by which, because you said it contributes to the lack of proficiency, and when kids miss more school, obviously then they're not meeting their grade level equivalent. And I know historically holding kids back hasn't been the most popular thing to do, and I know that it's not done very much, but you know, at what point do we look at that kind of stuff? And you hate to keep pushing these kids forward if they're not ready for the next level.
Yeah, that is a hot topic in the legal world, because parents do have the right to make the decision if they want to keep their child back, but you have to show a deep-rooted data and narrative as to why they do not support holding kids behind in the education unless they're truly at a very young age. They want kids to be with their peers. Core instruction, very important. That's that core grade level instruction that's happening in our math classrooms, that's happening in our 6th grade classrooms, in our kindergarten. But then when you think about that tiered level of support, International Falls has an upside down triangle. So when you look at the base of your triangle, you have more kids at the wider part of the triangle that are not proficient, and that should be the tip of the triangle, right? And that, I feel, based on the data and the narratives and the research that I've done, hence I want to bring another group in, is a direct correlation of students not being in class for grade level core instruction. In addition to, we are doing better as a school district to make sure that kids aren't being pulled out during that core instruction time for intervention services or speech services, making sure all kids, it's what I would call as protected time. That is protected time. Nobody gets pulled out for any service during grade level core instruction.
I just think, I mean, I know all the arguments against it and everything, but I just think if you started holding a few kids back because they weren't proficient at their grade level, I think the message would maybe get out that you can't be missing that much school.
There's so much involved in that.
Oh, I know, and I don't mean to make light of it, and I'm not trying to make it.
And I think that is why
I'm being serious. Like people would get the picture.
Yeah, no, it's just there's so much to it.
And that is why the new attendance process is going to be rolled out,
Yes.
because, you know, and I didn't make up this policy. The law, the statute says that educational neglect is real. And I don't want to end on a negative note, but educational neglect is real. And there is a point that when attendance meets a certain threshold, it's out of our hands and it goes to social services. And that is fact.
But you also said that it's the parent's choice if they want to take them out of school. They just have to show that there's reason for them to take them out. So
To an
it's like a really
extent,
fine line,
there's a
right?
certain point, like school policy, our school policy says that there's so many excused absences
Yes.
that are allowed. After that, you're gonna need to have a medical excuse,
Yes.
or you're gonna have to, maybe it's mental health. There has to be a reason, because the other thing is we can offer different types of education, home-based, we can homebound services.
Yes.
Because if there is a severe barrier, we're not here to penalize you or catch you.
No.
How can we help,
Right.
access and opportunity?
Right.
So
Okay.
I just want people to know that we want their kids in school. We want them to be
Yes.
at grade level, and we want their experience to be a positive one with our
Absolutely.
district.
I don't know if it's a question or feedback on that, but how do you do, like with the kids that are opposite, like the parents that pull their kids out, they get good grades, but they pull their kids out for a mental health day? Or there's students that are pulled out once a month to do this certain thing, but they're getting good grades. How do you encourage them to?
So I think I have to go back and look at my notes just through conversation. And that's what we have implemented an attendance team. I bet if you ask many people, they've probably received calls already by our attendance team. Like, we've noticed there's been 5 days. We already have children that we're in week 7. We have children that have missed 15 days of school already. So this is real. And I'm not trying to speak negatively, but also, how can we help? Like, is something going on that there is something that we could help you find a resource, a community resource? But then the other piece is kids have to be in school. It's the law. So we want to educate, we want to work with them, but we also have a team and our counselors on site that are working on interventions with kids. Because if we have to buy alarm clocks, if we have to teach kids how to set the timers on their phones, that's what we're going to do. Because we want to partner versus penalize.
I think that piece right there, sorry, was just amazing. I mean, to show that it is community driven, we're here for you. And just a accountability reminder to say, hey, we noticed, we're watching.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
But I also want to emphasize that your comment, Tina, about students who do well and then are pulled out of class, that they don't, as far as I know, the policy doesn't say if your grades are okay, you can miss more days. It's still, they all have to adhere. It doesn't matter what your grade is. You still have to adhere. I can't imagine it being different.
Yep, it's not. And you get a phone call, and one of the things would be there's that threshold. And I think the number is 12. I can't remember exactly. But again, I remind people that for every day a child misses, it takes a teacher 3 days to make up for that lost time, which also sets the other students back when they could be progressing. We've already had this day. We've had 2 days this year where we had a number of classes that had 10 students in them on a Friday. 10. A teacher cannot move forward with their lessons when you have 10 children out of 25 in the classroom. So these are real issues, and it's important that that's brought to the forefront, because again, a teacher can't move forward with their lesson with 10 students and 15 of them missing. So these are just things that we have to talk about, and we have to be calm and educate and talk about the importance of being here. So
That's the exact scenario I heard now this year. They didn't move forward with the lesson.
Yeah, but, okay, playing devil's advocate, okay? They really could move forward with the lesson. And those 15 kids that aren't there, it's their responsibility to get the assignment and figure it out.
Yep. However, there's also the piece of you're looking at a student, but you're also looking at a family life, a parent. It might be the student who would love to be there, or the student who would love to catch up and do their things. There might be lots of factors involved in home life.
I understand that.
So
there's always a reason for whatever people do. I get it, but the teacher's job is to teach the class. And I don't think that having too many kids out, that's not fair to the 10 kids that showed up that day. And I, of course, made my kids go to school. I had good attendance. And it's frustrating as one of those kids that's there, that then you just basically are having a free-for-all because the teacher doesn't want to move forward with the lesson. I don't agree with that approach.
And we're taking a proactive approach. Again, education, like I've spoken to a couple of different athletic and activity registration nights, because families don't know what they don't know, right? If we don't talk to them and tell them what we're seeing, how can they address it or consider it? So I had the opportunity to talk to 2 different registration nights to families to let them know our goals as a district and to let them know the trends that we're seeing and why we're seeing some of these patterns. And I can tell you, most were shocked when I talked about, to date, we've had a couple students miss 15 days already, or we've had 2 classrooms with 10 students in them, and just some of the barriers that it places on the teachers and the staff. And it's about educating and having a conversation on how we can do better and address some of these really big pillars that are affecting our student achievement and peer relationships. When you're in school, you build relationships, you build camaraderie, and that's a really important part of being a kid, right?
Right, and part of the education process is, as you stated, Beth, that teachers try to become understanding, that administrators try to dig into reasons so that it can be resolved rather than just plowed ahead, but resolved.
Yep.
So
that's okay. Right, thank you.
We could talk about that for 3 hours.
Yeah. All right. Policy committee, I think we kind of went over that. We'll start going, have more policies on the agenda for the next couple months. Athletic committee.
We do not have any update. We meet next on the 20th.
Okay. And then Rob?
yeah, for legislative stuff, at the first part of December, the MSBA, which is the Minnesota School Board Association, is going to have their delegate assembly meet, and they're going to train the delegates, and then they're going to start going through resolutions that are being sent in by districts to try to get some things changed. And one of the things that are huge are these unfunded mandates where you have to do things and you don't have money to do them.
Sprinklers.
Yeah, well, sprinklers is a big one, you're right. And as well as lots of things regarding education that may or may not be important, the ones that are important and good, but the ones that are not important and you're just throwing time, which means money at it, isn't any good. My big concern is that we have $125 million that have to be cut in special education in the state of Minnesota this year, as well as another $125 million that have to be cut next year. And so they have a committee working on trying to figure out how they're going to do that. It's a horrible amount of money, and I'm very fearful for what it's going to do to kids with special needs.
Weren't you looking at somebody in the school to submit one?
Yeah, I think when it's my turn to talk about that, I think it's on the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Any questions for Rox? No? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Jess and second by Tina. Any discussion?
I did have one question. Isn't it a contradiction in terms when they're a paid volunteer assistant?
It sounds funny, doesn't it?
I was like, how are they a paid volunteer?
Yeah.
I'm sure it has.
This
to
is
do
your
with
boosters.
Yeah.
But producers, right?
Yeah.
That's-
That language is interesting, so I will look into that.
Okay, I just thought I was reading it and I was like, that's a contradiction in terms.
And then, Dale, you're gonna have to abstain? Is it?
Can his just be moved down to a single or not?
Okay.
So he doesn't have to abstain on the whole thing?
I think
Tina did.
Tina did the last time, but anyway.
Fine.
Just because it just made things easier. But yeah, all right, any other discussion? All right. All those who approve the consent agenda as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, motion carries. All right, we'll move on to action items, approving systems and structures to create a culture where all are welcome and supported. Resolution of acceptance of gifts and donations. Whereas School Board Policy 706 establishes the guidelines for the acceptance of gifts or donations to the district. Whereas the International Falls School District Board encourages the support of the district's educational programs through gifts or donations that meet the goals and objectives of the district. Whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 states the school board may accept a gift, grant, or devise of real or personal property only by the adoption of a resolution approved by 2/3 of its members. Therefore, be it resolved, the School Board of International Falls Public Schools, ISD number 361, accepts with appreciation the following gifts, donations, or grants received by the school district. Lori Trumpeter PBIS donation, $100. Bronco Football Boosters Lawn Care, $1,900. Bronco Softball Boosters Lawn Care, $325. Bronco Baseball Boosters Lawn Care, $900. Bronco Basketball Boosters Shooting Machine, $4,041. Bronco Volleyball Boosters Jerseys, $1,365. Bronco Swimming and Diving Boosters Team Parkas, $2,540. Rainy Lake Medical Center Touchdowns and Turnovers, $1,000. Rainier Rec Club Football Cheerleader donation, $500. Tractor Supply PBIS donation, 31 plants to grow. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Cool. Second.
All right, Rox.
Dale.
Oh, Dale. Dale,
Dale's the first and Tina's the
Tina's the second. Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, whereupon the resolution is declared adopted. Will improve the support to the resolution submitted to MSBA for legislative action on early childhood special education paperwork reduction submitted by Legislative School Board Representative Roxanne Skogsa-Deach. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion
I'll
by
second.
Chris.
Second.
Second by Dale. Rox, do you wanna?
Yeah. I've been looking forward to this for 35 years. So, if you can believe that. But as an early childhood special education teacher, I knew there's always been a ridiculously large amount of paperwork involved in working with little kids that have special needs. And whenever you start requiring so much paperwork of a teacher, that means you can have you should have less of a caseload because you don't have time to work with the kids. And therefore, anytime you have time required to do things, it's going to equate to money. And now that we're really have a big focus on this cut of dollars in special ed, it's the ideal time to try to find ways to cut out some of the unnecessary things. I met with Ginger Christensen and Beth the other day, and then Ginger and I met alone, and I knew exactly what Ginger was going to tell me, but I wanted to verify it was still going on, and it was the amount of paperwork that's required. So Ginger submitted samples of paperwork for me, and then or to me, and then I prepared the paperwork and submitted it as proof to the Minnesota State Board or Minnesota School Board Association Legislative Assembly to help convince people that this is ridiculous. And so that will be one of the resolutions that we will, hopefully I will be a part of it. I'm still waiting to hear if I got on the committee, but hopefully I will be a part of being able to discuss it as well, instead of just submitting the paperwork. And what we're trying to do is provide for more time for special ed teachers to work with those little kiddos and their families and less time on paperwork.
Especially if the need is growing.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Good job, Rox.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion or questions for Rox? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Maintain our facilities to be welcoming, safe, and efficient for the use by students and the community. Approve the updated ISD 361 Emergency School Management Plan. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Tina,
Second, Rox.
second by Rox. Discussion? Beth, do you wanna-
Yeah, I can tell you that, that the plan is in need of updates. We have included the Alice framework. Our safety team has been working closely with the emergency agencies in town, from, the police department to the ambulance, just great conversations. We are now in alignment with, Ray Lake Medical Center, Cushing County Courthouse, the police department, and all surrounding school districts being Alice certified. They have also embedded into their school districts, a tiered, not a crisis management, like a violent critical incident, which is what the Alice framework is for, but they've also, the school districts have brought on, a framework called I Love You Guys, and it's more for, situations like a medical soft lockdown, maybe a conflict in the main office. And so they asked if International Falls would consider taking that, so we all have the same language. And I said, we were very interested in making sure we have the same partnership, just not this year, because, you know, we came out with lots of changes, and I didn't want to add that one on too. But I have been speaking with, I forget the officer's name, but I've had great Officer Koscheck and then Officer Offerdahl, and they are going to come back with their team at our professional development, back to school week, and we're going to do, some scenario-based trainings and introduce I Love You Guys back to school. And that's what the other perk of having, Miss Imhoff as part of our team. She is well trained in this, and she has been a part of some of the state mandated school safety teams. So she is going to be updating our policies and making sure we're aligned with local law enforcement. And she's already started that process and started to look for grants to continue to update the safety and security of our school district. As we know, there's areas we'd really like to invest in if we could.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Motion by Tina and second by Rox to approve the updated ISD 361 Emergency and School Management Plan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we will move to closed session. The meeting will be closed as permitted by Minnesota statute section 13D.05 for the superintendent's evaluation. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
Motion by Tina,
I'll second.
second by Jess. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. We are now in closed session.
So do I end the stream?
I think you got it, yeah.
Yeah.